Oh, wow. So let's see what's on YouTube. Okay, let's check this out. Let's check out some Shiny Gun reviews, shall we? Huh? What's this one? Let's see.
Hey guys, this is your friend.
Wait a second.
Also on and welcome back to another review.
What?
Today I'll be looking at
What?
the Samus Aran
What?
Figma.
This is a Shiny Gun review. What am I doing here? What? Hey guys, this is your friendly neighborhood TFG, also known as Transformer Gundam, and instead of doing schoolwork like a good student in quarantine, I'm going to be reviewing this. Today I'll be looking at the Samus Aran Figma, for real this time. So this is my first Figma, and of course I had to start off with my favorite video game character of all time, and that is Samus Aran. Now if you don't know, she comes from a super popular fighting game featuring Nintendo characters called Super Smash Bros. And she is one of the original characters from that game. And wait, what, you guys actually aren't buying that? I mean, she is from Smash Bros, but okay, fine, I'll show you the real game that she's actually from. If you didn't know, of course she comes from my favorite video game series of all time, Metroid. And this particular version comes from probably what is regarded as the worst game in this series, otherwise known as Metroid Other M. And if you're a Metroid fan, you know why that isn't the best series. Yeah, because of stuff like this.
Ah, fancy meeting you here, princess.
Remember me?
And this.
Samus, looks like I'm gonna need to ask for your cooperation on this mission, but I'm also gonna have to ask that you follow my commands. You don't move unless I say so, and you don't fire until I say so.
Anyways, I'm not here to talk about the video game, I'm here to talk about the figure itself. So here is the packaging, and I really do love the presentation that Figma has given us here. It's a really nice box. As you can see, here's the side of the box here, showing off the figure. And the one thing to note, I actually did not buy this new. I bought this used on eBay a few years back, and I'm just now getting to reviewing this figure. So here is the back side. I gotta say, the box is actually in pretty good condition, so that's good. And it's showing off some of the really good poses that this figure can do. And top of the box just has my picture of Samus. It says Figma, and it is from the Good Smile Company and Max Factory. And this is also 133 in the Figma series. Here's the other side, and on the bottom we got the same thing. So yeah, this is it for the packaging, and let's take a look at the actual figure. So here's the Samus Aran Figma opened up and off her packaging, and man, I gotta say, the painting and sculpting on this figure is awesome. They absolutely nailed the looks of this figure, and it's everything I could ever want in a Samus action figure. For the paint, they went with this really brilliant shiny metallic finish that just makes the figure pop.
Some other details include a very nice clear green visor and some neon green lights which are very well painted throughout the whole entire body, including on the arm cannon.
getting into the articulation, the head is on a double ball joint. As you can see, if I flip it off here, you can see there is a ball joint that connects the neck to the actual body, and then of course there is a ball joint that connects the neck to the helmet. So as you can see, this is on a ball joint, so it can move a little bit. You can see that, and then of course the actual ball joint here plugs into here, so you can get a little bit more movement out of that. So you can get a really good up and down range, and also a little bit of side to side movement. But because of the design of this figure, the head can actually cannot rotate full 360. Can only go about that far. See, without it popping off, it can go that far and look that far, as you can see. So kind of disappointing there, but kind of understandable just due to the design of the figure. The arms is on a double ball joint, so it can go in and out at a pretty decent range of motion. It can also of course rotate a full 360. This is also on a separate little ball joint, so this can wiggle around and move a little, and as well as go in and out. There, since it is a ball joint, there is a little bit of rotation at the biceps and a pretty decent bend out of the elbow. Well, not as good as on this arm, but on the other arm, as you can see, it has a really great range of motion there, so you can kind of see the difference. This is maybe a little more 90 degrees, and then this is a full bend out of the elbow there, so that's really good there. Although I will say this joint does look kind of weird at some angles because it kind of sticks out there. But the hand can also rotate a full 360. You can kind of see how it's just connected in there. It's just a simple peg that plugs into the hole there. It also has a hinge, so it can move in and out. As for the waist, it can rotate a full 360. It's just a simple ball joint. It can also move up and down in a pretty decent ab crunch, and side to side a little bit. Now onto the legs. This is where it gets kind of weird because these joints are kind of like a rubberized joint, and that means it's not the most solid connection. You can see it's just a simple ball joint that plugs into there. There's also a ball joint that plugs into the actual
abdomen
area. So this leg does kind of like to pop up kind of easily. As you can see, it does have a little bit of loose joints if I do a little bit of a shake test. But besides that, getting back into the articulation, the legs can go out that far, so you get a really good cake there, and it can go back about that much, a little bit more, and okay, never mind, I take it back. I thought it was honestly going to pop out, but a really good range of motion going forward and back. In and out, sadly, it's pretty hindered, just again due to the design. So I can only really go out that much. I wish it went out a little bit wider, especially since Samus gets into a lot of like wide poses or wide stances. But can only go about that far in, that far out, that far in. Because this is a ball joint, there's a little bit of rotation there. And as for the leg bend, the leg bend, it can bend at a very nice angle there, as you can see. And also because of this weird black joint, it has a little bit of rotation there. And then finally getting to the feet, they are on that, again, that weird black joint thing that is on the arms and on the legs. So it can of course rotate, but not a full 360. But it can go up that far, back really decently actually. Like that's really good. She can basically go on her tippy toes there. And of course there's also a little bit of ankle pivot right here, so you can kind of see that. It's a really nice ankle pivot. And yeah, that's about it for the articulation. It's pretty decent. I wish it was better in some areas, but for a Figma figure, this is pretty standard. Although I heard the newer Prime 3 version has better articulation, which I really want that figure. But anyways, that's about it for articulation. Now let's get into the accessories.
This being a Figma figure, as you can see, she comes with a lot of accessories. So let's take a closer look at each one. So starting off, she comes with these really cool beam effects, except there is a problem. As you can see here, the peg is actually pretty thick, and when I tried plugging the smaller beam in, the peg actually ended up snapping on me, which sucks. But luckily for me, even though the peg did snap, it didn't snap all the way, so I can still actually use the smaller beam with the arm cannon, so that's good. And while theoretically the longer beam could plug into the arm cannon, I really do not want to attempt it, as I do not want to snap that one either. Now let's talk about some hands. As you can see, she comes with her signature thumbs up hand. She also comes with the standard fist, as well as a grasping hand. A standard open hand, and finally her more neutral open hand, which you saw throughout the review. She also comes with the morph ball. Check it out, it rolls, kind of. She also comes with a replacement tip for her arm cannon to make it look like she's shooting out a missile. The only problem is that she doesn't actually come with any missile accessories, but hey, at least I could plug the longer beam in with no issues at all. And of course, this being a Figma, she comes with the Figma stand, which has 3 hinge joints, one there, and one there. To actually plug the figure into the stand is just a simple peg connection into the hole on her back. And of course, utilizing the stand, you can get her into some pretty decent action poses, as you can see here. It also comes with a standard Figma bag where you can store all of its extra accessories, so that's nice.
And that's about it for this figure, and I gotta say, I really do enjoy this figure. The proportions are great, the articulation is also great as well, although it is lacking in some areas admittedly, and it also does suffer from some loose joints, but that could just be due to me buying this copy used, so I don't know how good the joints were new. But besides that, this is a really good Samus figure, and I can highly recommend it to anyone who is a fan of the Metroid series. Now, I don't know how much she goes for nowadays, as this is an older figure and she is kind of hard to find now, but if you can find it for a decent price, I would highly recommend this figure. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, let me know in the comments below. And yeah, that's all it for me. This is the Transformer Gundam, signing out.